Welcome back to our second segment of Black Woman Be Well, live here at Valencia College West Campus at the Halloween event. It is so awesome out here, all of the different resources and opportunities they're giving to students about wellness and health. Joining us today for the second segment is Kayla again. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And another mentee slash former student, Chrishandra in the house. And for the second segment, we're focusing on how to find your happy. How to find your happy in college. Right? So, for the first question, pretty basic. What does finding your happy in college, what does that mean? Or what finding your happy, what does that even mean?
So pretty much, I feel like you have to kind of know yourself and know what you like and what you're into. And then you have to try and find like that balance between, of course you need your studies or whatever, but you also need to find that balance of like what you like and what makes you happy. So that's like the whole, I feel like during your college experience, that's what you're like trying to figure out, like what truly makes me happy, what can I do to balance that into my life as well as, you know, being an adult, but also still having a personal life as well. So that's what I think.
So knowing who you are, and I feel like that search for identity, it never stops, because you know I'm your former professor. I'm older, not old, older, but I still find myself like even trying to figure out who am I, like philosophically and ethically in terms of my value. Like I'm still asking that question now. But I feel like when I think about my college experience, that gave me like the best opportunities to explore what you just said, like exploring myself, because you just meet new people, you learn different things. There's no other environment really that creates this kind of like microcosm to allow for that to happen. So finding who you are is really important.
Oh yeah, that's what I think.
Finding you're happy. That's good. What about you, Kayla?
Well, so honestly, finding your happiness is a very, very, very difficult thing. I'm actually going through a lot, and I'm not very happy right now. You know, family is a very difficult thing to deal with sometimes, especially if you don't have a support system. I'm a single mom of 3 kids, so I feel as though right now my happiness is them. So my whole life revolves around them. So it's very hard personally for me to find my happiness right now, because I am dealing with college, I am dealing with my family, I am dealing with 3 kids that I'm taking care of by myself. And right now I'm still in the, you know, trying to find what will make me happy.
And I just love that you could be so honest and authentic, because I mean that's the whole reason why we're here, is to talk about how difficult it is to be happy when you're stressed out.
And it's okay to not be happy. It's okay, because eventually you will find out what works for you, and you will find that happiness eventually. So don't give up. If you're struggling right now, don't give up, because you will find it. It will happen. I know, I'm about to cry. Okay, sorry.
You encouraging people, that was like a real word, like, because sometimes when you're in the trenches, when you're like just deep in it, I always equate it to drowning. Like when you're really drowning, you can't come up from the water and ask for help, because you're drowning. The water is flooding your mouth, your lungs, like you can't talk. So that's kind of like what happens when you're like in the thick of it.
Oh yeah.
If you're really depressed or you're going through this, why don't you just say something? It's not that easy.
Right, and it's hard to find certain people that you trust in order to give them the insight in your life for them to be able to help you to find your happiness. I've learned that a lot. I have my wonderful mentor here that I literally tell my whole entire life to, and it helps.
We be crying together.
Yes, crying in the office, yes. And it really does help though. You just have to find that one person that will help you.
That's so deep, because it's like you have to find your voice to speak up, but then like also, who are you gonna tell it to? Who are you gonna ask?
Right.
Because don't you feel like as Black women, it's hard for us to trust sometimes?
Oh yeah.
I've given my trust away more times than I can count, and it's always ended bad. Always.
No, for real.
Yes.
That's why, like I said, it's that balance. You just gotta try and find the balance, because without that balance, you'll quickly find yourself losing yourself, pretty much. That's what I learned.
It's very easy to lose yourself now, especially being a college student and being a Black woman.
Oh, yeah.
It is very hard.
Then add kids to the
That was
mix
like you
too.
have kids too, right?
Yes, ma'am. 2 kids as well. So trying to balance work, school, and the munchkins. Woo-hoo, it's tough.
I think that's why also what you said kind of struck me. I don't have children, so I don't understand that perspective all that well. So I learned from you guys in that way. But even when you just said, like almost like you have to sacrifice your own happiness to make sure your children are happy.
Yep.
I mean, it's like one of those things where, you know, you got baby daddy problems, you know, for real. And you have to sacrifice being the bigger person in order for your kids to live a normal life, you know, knowing both their mom and their dad. But it's always, I feel like, the women who have to put on that brave face, and they have to sacrifice their own happiness for everybody else in their life, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What strikes me is, so you had a real moment with us, like, I'm not happy yet, but just because of all the stress that's going on in your life. But you also said, I'm working on it.
Yes.
What are some ways that you're working on it? Or can you give us like specific examples of what that looks like?
Yeah.
And Chrish, you can chime in too if you want.
So my first one would be find someone who you trust, because definitely telling my mentor about my life and some of my issues has definitely helped me a lot. Being able to have somebody to confide in without them judging you, because that's a big problem, is people judging you, especially in our situation, having kids and we're young. People look at us like we're not good parents already because we're
the
young.
younger ones.
Right. So definitely finding somebody who you can trust, and just finding stuff that you like.
Yeah.
You know, going for walks. If it's something as simple as listening to a song that you like or something, find something that simple and it can really make a difference.
That's why when Gina said in the first segment, like, you have to experiment with things to find out who you are and what you like, so that you can find ways, you know, to access moments of happiness. But you won't know unless you try stuff out.
Unless you try it.
Yeah. What you just said reminded me of something, how sometimes we're afraid to share with others because of the immediate judgment that comes.
Yes.
And don't you find that sometimes as Black women, when we find people to reach out and we finally found somebody, we're ready to share, and when we do, it's we get met with sympathy instead of empathy.
Yes.
Because now I don't want you to, like, I don't want to be a case for your case management, like,
Right.
or for you to feel like, oh my God, that is so terrible for you.
Right.
And now I'm gonna like overcompensate, and you know, you end up becoming like a project, or because people can't just see you as human.
Right.
And that part I struggle with, and that's why I've always, like, what I get nervous about speaking up sometimes about, because I don't want sympathy, I want empathy, but
It's
I don't
like,
want,
I don't need somebody to feel sorry for
Right.
me. This is my situation, and I understand my situation. I don't need to be felt sorry for.
Yeah.
You know, I just need help getting through it, or being pushed to a certain point to where I can get through it on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like with my own situation, I'm like, all right, let me put this smile on, and it's another day. We got to start over and just get through it. Like, that's the whole thing, is just like try and push through it. Because I don't know, I don't have, like, I have a support system, but it's to like a certain extent. So like me trying to find like that balance, I don't really have an outlet to where I can really go and tell exactly how I'm feeling or what's happening with me. Like, I keep it so sheltered and wear a mask and just like keep trying to push through it. So that's one of the things when you were saying, like, you were trying to find your happiness and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can relate a lot to that, because that's a lot. It's very common, especially with Black women, because like a lot of us are, not saying we're the only ones that are single moms and stuff, or like trying to get through life, but we're in a lot of situations like that. And so we put on like that Superwoman cape and just try and get through it. But it's probably a lot better if we do try and reach out to others and speak with
That's
them.
why I like how you said the mask, because I feel like every Black woman understands what you meant when you said that.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because it's like we're taught from a young age to shake it off. Life goes on.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You gotta, today is the day, tomorrow's gonna be another day. You need to just power through it. And that's where that Superwoman mentality comes from. Like, we have to do everything and do it for us and for everybody else. And when you don't feel good and you have to still show up to work the next day, you look for the mask and
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
and that's the hard part when you're dealing with not being happy or depressed or anxious, or you're going through issues and you still have to function through it. And I feel like we're so good at it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a normalized thing, which is not okay.
No.
But it's a very normalized thing for a lot of people now, is you're depressed, but you got to honestly, essentially get over it.
Yeah.
And just live life.
Yeah, it's not good for us, and it's not good for society because they don't really understand our story.
Right.
Because we hide it from them.
Right.
Yep, pretty much.
know?
I know for me, like I said, I didn't really have that person. Or like, it's not that I didn't have it, it's just like I was scared to open up, because it's just like, you don't want to burden people with your issues. So one of the things that I started doing, like I just started writing. So that was like my little outlet. I started writing like poems and stuff. So that's kind of like what keeps me level-headed and zen and not going crazy, because
Fun fact, Cassandra is like a bomb lyricist.
Bomb.
yes, check me out.
She'll share her Instagram in a second. We'll give her the space to do that. But oh yeah, she's a great writer, rapper, performer. So that's your outlet.
Yeah, I literally, because like I'm from Georgia, and so the transition from Georgia to Florida, I don't have anybody out here. Like, it's my parents and that's it. So I really be feeling alone. Like, my friends back home, like, they have their own lives. Like, they're in the military, they're in school and stuff, and I'm the only one that's a single parent as well. So I had to find something, yeah. Like, because of you guys,
Yeah.
I'm finding peace again, because I felt so alone. But like, literally this year, this semester, meeting these people, it's been a great help, like, really.
For those that don't know, Chrish and Kayla were in a class I taught, African American Humanities. It's at Valencia, we call them flex classes, so they meet shorter in the term, so it was only 10 weeks, it was a bit accelerated. And like the last week of school, Kayla was like, I
did not want to end that
I don't want to end the class.
At
I'm
all.
like, well, I'm going to end the class.
I just was going to show up and nobody was going to be there.
No,
That was
for real.
me.
So she got the idea to start a student club called We the Culture. And so when Chrish is talking about y'all, that's what she's talking about. They're on an e-board together.
Yes.
Now it's a club, so they meet frequently. They talk in group chat. They talk on Instagram. And I will speak to that, because what you guys are experiencing is what's known in diversity work as affinity spaces. I didn't know I needed an affinity space until I was an adult. And I told you, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing in life until you experience it. So as a grown woman in a professional setting, we were put in affinity groups. Affinity groups are like groups with similar people. So I was in a space with women of color. And the things we got to share in that space in a professional setting with, professional women, our stories that we got to share, the fact that I didn't have to code switch, we were just talking in our common vernacular, realizing that other people were like me and experiencing the same things I was experiencing was so impactful. And I didn't know I needed that. And I didn't know I needed it in college, because I tell this story a lot. I didn't get my first black professor till graduate school. And I just, I never had affinity spaces what you guys had. And so that is a great example of finding your happy, find your people.
Yeah.
I will say, when I found Chrish and I found out that she had kids, like, we share stories now.
For real?
Like, we share stories about
War stories.
what we go through with our
Survival
kids.
stories.
Yes. And it's so it gives me so much hope that one day her and I, probably together, will end up finding the happiness that we've been
real.
looking for. And it's just gonna be great.
Well, let's talk about, I would love for us to actually actualize that. What does that look like? What does Kayla look like happy? What does Chrish look like happy?
Getting up out of my bed with no worry on my mind at all, except, are these kids gonna be good today? That's it.
That kind of breaks my heart, because I'm getting a little teary-eyed, because that's so basic.
Right. And it's so sad, like
that some of us are living like that we don't
Yes.
even have that, you know?
yes.
And you deserve that and more,
Thank you.
for sure.
Thank
Yeah. We're gonna pray on that. You're gonna have that experience.
Hopefully. Hopefully they good that
We're
day
gonna
too.
speak it
Hopefully
into
they're good that
existence.
day too.
Look, just an overall great day.
Yeah.
I think for me, I know when I finish school, that will be like the ultimate happiness because I'm just so ready to be done.
Yeah.
But literally, I'm just like, I just want to achieve my goals. That's the only thing like I'm focused on right now. I just want to get through school, get in my career, and be the best mother to my children. And that's it. I just want stability and happiness.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I want.
I do want to leave some advice about finding your happy. Make sure they're healthy techniques. So Chrish found an outlet. She's very expressive. She accesses her artistic talent, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's healthy. When you binge Netflix for 30 hours
That's
straight,
not healthy.
that's not healthy.
No.
It's a relief, but it doesn't add anything to your being. So, you know, you can binge Netflix, we're not saying not to, but are you doing other things? Are you journaling? Are you reflecting? Are you talking to people you trust? Are you going to a therapist or a mental health counselor? Are you exercising? Are you eating right? So make sure you're coming up with things. Are you like, no?
It'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like,
That's why I'm working on it because I'm not there. I'm not there.
that's why I said I'm trying
Wait,
to find
but you did
healthy coping
softball.
mechanisms.
I do
What's
play softball.
Yeah, you
I
did.
play adult softball.
You do
That's-
softball.
It's 1 day a week, so there's that.
I mean, that's your one day
That's
of
my one
outlet,
day.
Yeah.
freedom.
I journal a lot and I walk my dog. The unhealthy coping mechanism I have is I eat. I stress eat.
I love food.
Be snacking.
I love carbs. So, yeah, make sure you're doing healthy things so that you can find opportunities to find your happiness.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I know it took me a minute because like 3 years ago, I was a complete hothead, like coming off of like a 3-year breakup. So I was just like, I was just in a really dark spot. So I had to do like a lot of praying and soul searching. And that's how I was able to tap into my creativity. And I got into writing and stuff like that. I had to really learn how to love myself again because like with that relationship, that just pretty much broke me.
Yeah.
So I just had to like rebuild myself. And it took a lot of time, like a lot of time.
But you got there.
Yeah, still on the road.
Still
to
working on
get
it.
in there, but
But here's my last question to y'all. Can you find your happy in college?
I think so.
Yes.
Can I be honest with you? And you don't know
honest.
this.
Be honest.
During your class, and I feel like this is important to say.
Okay.
I did try to commit suicide. So
Oh, I did not know that.
from your class, meeting these people changed my life in a very positive way. So
Kayla, I didn't
I
know
want to
that.
thank you. Yeah.
She about to have us
It
crying.
was a very, very, very dark place. But you guys really helped me through it.
Right.
You did.
I don't have anything to say.
And now I'm not there.
Here come the
though,
waterworks.
So it's good. Don't cry. I'm serious.
Kayla.
I love you.
It's all love.
Yes.
From that one class, we
Yep.
grew so much. Like we started an organization, we started so many relationships.
Yep.
Like we've just grown so much. Don't look like that.
Stop.
We've
You're gonna
just
make
all
me
grown
cry.
so much, and we've just built like this great connection.
Yes.
And like that's what you need in college. Like that's really what you need. Like you get to interact with so many people. Like when you're in college, just network, get your studies done, and you could grasp so much and build so much happiness for yourself. Like that's really how you can get happiness. Like
I
just
feel
look
like
at
that's
us.
a serious
We got
issue
a whole
that,
little
like,
thing going, whole little
deal
family.
with. Yeah.
I'm just
Look.
super proud of you guys, and people don't know how hard school and stress and life can be, and I'm just so proud of
It's
y'all.
very hard. But
But there are moments where we can get it, we can find it, and that's the whole point of this, is to share with others that, don't give up hope. Don't ever give up hope.
you are
Okay?
not the only one.
You're not
at
the
all.
only one.
If you need anything, we're here. You probably have other people in your lives, and they will help you through it.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
And on that note, now that I look terrible, we'll end the episode.
Look, I'm sitting here biting a lip, trying not to fully cry, not to have a boo-boo face. Like,
Thanks for joining, you guys, and stay tuned for the next
Yes.
episode.
bye.
Hey, listeners. If you've made it this far in the episode, then you got to listen to Kayla's vulnerability as she shared her thoughts of suicide. If this was a trigger for you, or if you're dealing with your own thoughts, please know that there are resources available for you at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.